Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading here at MadWorldTarot. I was off yesterday catching up with family, very important to do that, but I'm back today and we are checking in on Harry and Meghan in Colombia. And of course they are, I think, about halfway through their tour now, their fall royal tour. And there is a story going around, there are many stories going around, but one of the more interesting stories going around is speculation about who might be covering their security costs. And I think that this story was first unraveled by the royal grift, who spotted, she has got eagle eyes, and she spotted that the security around Harry and Meghan were wearing very special badges, little pin badges, little buttons. And the one was worn by a guy she calls Baldy, who has been Harry's private security from the Met Police for a very long time, in the days when he still had, of course, royal protection. And that's a British badge. And then another guy seemed to be wearing the United States equivalent. So she was wondering, and I think it was her that started this whole thing, she was wondering if perhaps the palace is covering Harry and Meghan's security costs. So Neil Sean has picked this story up, and Neil Sean has said emphatically that this is not the case, that he has been assured by people at the palace, by royal courtiers, that they are not paying for Harry and Meghan in Colombia. He says he can't stress it enough that the palace is denying this. And he says he himself has one of those badges because he's hung around with those kinds of people, and those badges seem to be quite easy to come by, which is a bit alarming, don't you think? But anyway, we'll park that. We won't look at that. We're just going to use the new Palladini Tarot right now, and we're going to dig around into the story. Short little reading. I'm going to ask about the security situation, where these guys are coming from, who's providing them. Is it private? Is it public? Who's paying for them? Is it private? Is it public? Why the badges? Neil Sean's theory is that Harry and Meghan want us to believe that their security costs are being covered by the British government, by the United States government, by the authorities, rather than digging in their pockets or possibly Colombian pockets, who knows. But they want to create the illusion, this is Neil Sean's theory, they want to create the illusion that they have got official security, which is the thing, of course, that Harry is suing the British government for. And then I'm asking, finally, is the royal family, the king, involved in any way in digging in his pocket to help this fall royal tour? It would be pretty outrageous if he was, but we'll see. And let's remind you, because we're investigating this situation, that we're just doing it for fun. It's just tarot for fun and entertainment. It is all speculation. It is all my opinion that I express here. I just read energy, and there is a disclaimer in the box below. So let's see what the cards tell us. Where these guys are coming from, who's paying for them, why the badges, what's the message that we're supposed to be getting from those badges, and royal family involved, the king involved in any shape or form, or washed his hands of the whole mess, the whole sorry mess. She does seem to be absolutely reveling in the attention. We're going to have a look at that in the next reading and see how it's going for Madame. But right now, security, because of course the Parkles are all about the security. They've got some magic briefcase that's being waved over their heads, perhaps that huge bag that she's wearing, carrying around with her, is also some form of security, or is it just jam she's carrying around and there to hand out to poor Colombians? I have the 5 of Cups in reverse as our underlying energy. It's a card of sorrow and woe and regret and mourning, and it is in reverse. It's a strange card to come up in a reading about security, and I have to show you the next one down because I think it needs to be on the table as well. It's the Death card. It's in reverse. Scorpio energy in there, just saying, in reverse. Quite literally, I think we can take it this time. Very seldom read that card as quite literal. There is some indication here of pain, bad memories, anxiety, regret around a death, that kind of a thing. As I say, awkward energy to be discussing. But anyway, we're looking at this situation. They are in a very dangerous country. They have put themselves in harm's way, in my opinion. And perhaps deliberately as an act of provocation to that Scorpio energy in reverse. There's its own little story that's coming through for me at an energetic level, for me as a tarot reader, with this underlying energy that I feel needs to be told. I think that there is some agenda here. I wasn't reading on that, just by the way. That's not the reading that I was expecting to get, but that is the energy that has come through as our underlying energy for this reading. And it happens like this sometimes. Universe says, you're asking the wrong questions. We need to be talking about this, not that. And then we have it again, the Ten of Swords, and it's in reverse. And this is the energy of ruin and defeat and betrayal and backstabbing and the end and dark night of the soul and all of that stuff. Literally, it's a card, again, of death, the Ten of Swords, because it's depicted as a kind of a death, an ego death, and it's in reverse, same as here. We're getting the same message, underlying energy, and the actual situation we're dealing with. Prevent this, avoid this. This could happen again. There's two energies that are coming at me from different sides, and they're kind of sliding over each other like tectonic plates. And the one energy is this, what feels for me energetically is quite manipulative, is sending a message to the Scorpio energy, and there's another energy that's sliding into it, which has to do with the failure to land that official security. Ten of Swords, do you really want me to go down like happened before? But I too have gone down because I failed to get the security that I thought I was going to get. Do you remember that appeal was supposed to be heard in June or July? They were trying to get that security case rushed through the courts so that they could get official security in Colombia. That was the plan. They said they had royal tours to go on, that many tours that they were planning, and the court said, oh no, you just get in line and you wait your turn like everyone else. Ten of Swords in reverse. Strange what long stories are coming through in these few cards. So where are these guys coming from? Who's providing the security? Doesn't mean paying for, just who's rustled them up, basically. Where have they come from? Ooh, we have the Emperor. We have the Emperor. So that is, at the very least, the state, the government. It's very high up. It doesn't get higher up than the Emperor. Okay, king, government, whether British or American or Colombian, it's coming from the top of the top of the top. So conspiracy theories are abounding for a reason. Okay, who's paying for the security? Harry, the Hermit. So Dad might have said, okay, you can have Baldy and whoever else, or given them a nudge, please go, please look after that brat, don't want hair on his head harmed, even if it's that spray on hair that he seems to be wearing, although he's not wearing it in Colombia, thank the Lord, because it would have melted off his head, like Meghan's clothes. Her unfortunate silk outfit seemed to be melting off her yesterday, but we won't speak about that ghastly sight that we all had to see. My nerves. That's Harry. Virgo, Hermit, he's paying. So I think this is why I'm getting this sliding energy of these plates sliding over each other and in huge amount of tension in them, because I do think a plea went out, help, and okay, I'll make some calls. I'm not saying literally did it, but I do think that higher-ups, very high-ups, or decided to collaborate to look after the Ginger Whinger and make sure that no harm came to him in an extremely volatile, dangerous country, which seems to be going through an extremely volatile and dangerous patch just right now. But Harry is paying the Virgo energy, Major Arcana Virgo, the one who hates to dig in his pockets and possibly has quite empty pockets right now, except for that huge inheritance, that trust fund that the late Queen Mother set up several years before she passed away, and that seems to be absolute fact. I remember it at the time. I remember hearing about it, reading about it way back in the 90s. So I don't think it's a fiction that she set up a trust fund to avoid inheritance duty and to provide for her great grandchildren, and that the money is being paid out over time. So there it is. You getting a large inheritance, darling boy, when you turn 40. Pay for it yourself. Why the badges? Why the illusion of this? What's the message Harry and Meghan want us to receive? I've got the Star in reverse. It's the despair card, the giving up hope card. And so they have failed. It's sitting under the Ten of Swords in reverse. They have failed to get something that they hoped for, they believed was theirs. Special treatment. The Star is a very special card. Celebrity, it's become that. But also it's this is your path, your purpose, your mission in life, and it's in reverse. So you're not the stars, you're not the chosen ones, you're not whatever you think you are. They might have tried it, they might have hoped to get it, and they certainly did try and they did hope. They failed, and so there is despair in there, but we're not to know. We're going to pretend believing we are stars, and we're going to hope that you still believe we are stars, even though nobody with eyes to see can possibly be deceived at this point, in my opinion, about the true nature of both their relationship and their standing in the world. My opinion. So tell me about the King and what he's got to do with this, if at all. He's shown up sort of in this Emperor, but it could be, as I say, governments as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be him, and especially as there was an American security guy with the Parkles. So I don't think it was just King Charles in that energy. But tell me very specifically about the King. What involvement, if any, does he have in this whole circus? And I've got the Eight of Swords in reverse. That tells me he's washed his hands of them. It's upright. It's a mental situation that he's got stuck in. And he has unstuck himself from it with the Eight of Swords. In reverse, he's liberated himself from this mess, washed his hands of it, is the thought that's coming to my mind as I see that card. I don't want anything to do with this. You're welcome to have that very high status involvement because of these individuals' previous service. They were very high up. They were long-standing service records with the respective security services, but I don't want anything to do with this. It's not a money card. It's a mental card. It's a thought card. It's a card of vision, of fear and entrapment when it's upright, and in reverse and liberation. And I don't care. I've got other things to think about. And we know he's got other things to think about. There's some ghastly rumours going around again about the King's health and the Princess of Wales's health and what's going on with that. I'm aware of them. I'm going to read on them probably tomorrow. Don't have the stomach for it right now. This little story, this little bit of intrigue seemed to need looking at first. And I think we're pretty clear about what's going on here. I think that there's been a big failure on the part of the Parkles to manipulate, and it's masking a big failure with the Star in reverse and the Ten of Swords over there of their little agenda and their little ruses and their attempts to blackmail. My opinion, it's a wild term. I don't mean they're literally blackmailing, emotional blackmail, let's call it that. And who's paying for it? That one. The miser himself is paying for it. Cost a plenty too. I should imagine that would be on top of the private jet that took herself to the Hamptons, allegedly. That rumour that he was landed with the bill rather unexpectedly, that hurt. This is going to hurt a whole lot more. That's your reading. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.